The game takes place on Venus. This theory was based on a MatPat video where he explains that the game takes place on Venus. At the time, he did seem to be correct, but changes to the story, especially Battle Royale in the metaverse, pretty much disproves this theory. Tim Sweeney apparition. This one is crazy. It's talking about a time where players would demonic In my journey to uncover the full story of Fortnite, it requires me to sift through the backlogs of early 2010 websites. Many of these pages have been lost due to time, and it's hard to navigate because of broken links and forgotten platforms. Old, decrepit, and obsolete due to the rapidly evolving internet. While creating my Fortnite Iceberg video, I had reached the entry where I talked about the 2012 build of the game. I wanted to find out more information about the older builds of the game, and I never really researched Fortnite before Battle Royale. I mean, all I knew was that before Battle Royale, the game was simply called Fortnite, and the Save the World name was adopted only after Battle Royale's release. So, to better understand the game's history, I went on Google and searched for Fortnite and added a keyword before 2013. The reason for doing that was to allow Google to filter search results to show only published articles before a specific date. In this instance, articles published before 2013. Now, in August, the search engine was more optimized and managed to show articles related to that time. I have no clue why this monstrosity shows up today, but back then, I found this article from The Verge. When I visited this website, I kept getting this weird XML error that was telling me that the website did not have a style sheet to go with the HTML, which was why I could not access it. I don't know. I guess that is the side effect of exploring the backlog of the internet. Today, if you try to visit the link, you will get a 404 error. Now, I know some of you are going to mention that Polygon is the same article, and that is true. However, since both sites are owned by Vox and the articles are the same, I'll use The Verge for this video for clarity's sake, and another reason that I will reveal later. Now, what I would usually do when I come across a 404 error or a non-functional website is go to my good friend, the Wayback Machine. If you're unfamiliar with the Wayback Machine, it's a tool that allows you to visit archived versions of websites. And, judging by what I see, I think that it will be a great tool to use for this scenario. Reading this article is so interesting because ever since the announcement at the 2011 Spike Video Game Awards, Epic Games had been working on the game behind the scenes, and there has been little to no information about it until now. At Comic-Con in 2012, Epic Games had a panel where they talked everything Fortnite. They discussed how Fortnite will be the first game to utilize Unreal Engine 4, provided additional details about the game, said that it would be PC exclusive, and mentioned that Fortnite would continue to receive updates after its launch. Well, first off, reading this after seeing how the game has evolved to become more metaverse focused makes it half true. Yes, we do receive content updates, but not in Save the World. Ever since the new Hunt the Titan storyline in November, there hasn't been anything significant added to the game. They asked for feedback, and I feel like there was a lot from the community, and nothing came from it. Aside from that is what was discussed in the panel. So, why bring this up? Well, what really stuck out to me in this article was the pictures and what else was said that I didn't mention. Besides the team talking about the core features, they showcased playable prototypes. Yes, prototypes with an S, of the game running on Unreal Engine 3, which showed multiple ways players could upgrade their weapons. One of the weapons they demoed was a crossbow that could be equipped with explosives or electric shocks. They also previewed different types of enemies, with one of them named the Squat, which I have no clue what enemy they are talking about, and different building structures that players could build. These photos are the interesting part of this article. Besides the basic promotional images, you can see pictures of the prototype builds that the article was referencing. These include an image of the crossbow weapon and 2 photos of trolls running around. These definitely look like prototype photos based on the background, as they showed buildings with a checkerboard pattern on them, FN guys not holding a gun, and the dust trails in these images resembled those from the 2012 prototype builds. If I were to guess, this is one build after the video that we got from the anonymous source, but that is purely speculation. Also, we have two images of what I guess is a demonstration on how they transitioned from Unreal Engine 3 to Unreal Engine 4. Now, why am I showing you this article in its archive form when I can just use Polygon's version as it's accessible without the Wayback Machine? Well, many websites today use the WebP standard, which is great for performance and bandwidth. You probably experience WebP when you download something and get annoyed because you can't really use it. Well, the issue I have is not really the incompatibility format, it's more so the metadata. See, if I show you this photo that I took from the Wayback Machine and the same photo from the Polygon article, besides the file format where Wayback image is JPEG and the Polygon article image is WebP, if I put it in a tool called EXIF tool, which reads metadata in a very detailed way, we see a little more information about the JPEG file that the WebP file does not have, such as the file name and the fact that it was edited using Adobe Photoshop CS5 for Macs, which was possibly used to add the Polygon logo. While that information is cool, I want to focus on the file names as this is important. We see file names ranging from image 9577 to image 9588. Since we're dealing with file names starting with IMG from the year 2012, I think it's safe to assume that the person who took these photos was using either an iPhone or a Samsung Galaxy, as these naming conventions were pretty common for devices like that. It is possible to be a digital camera, but it is pretty unlikely. So we have a total of 5 photos, and typically, smartphones name pictures by incrementing the file number in the file name. For example, I took these 3 photos with my phone, and as we can see, image 9537 is the first one, and then it goes up by 1. So now we see 5938, and then 5939. In the case of the Verge photos, we see image 9577, which jumps to image 9581, skipping 4 photos in between. But it doesn't end there. We also see image 9581 jump to image 9584, then 9584 to 9586, and finally 9586 to 9588. So we miss a total of 11 photos. Photos that are likely lost forever. So why does this matter? Well, it's important because we rarely receive detailed information about early game builds, especially those from the Fortress era. This panel at Comic-Con 2012 was one of the first times the developers talked about the game in depth since the announcement back in December 2011, and these photos included by the writer further showed the early development days. 3 out of the 5 photos were from the prototype build running on Unreal Engine 3, while the other 2 were from the Unreal Engine 4 gameplay build. These images served as proof that Epic Games showcased these builds to people who had attended the panel. I wanted to gather more information about the build that they showed off, so I reached out to the writer of the article on Twitter, but as of the time of filming, I have not received a response. Despite these photos that we see, no video footage exists online today. And being the optimist that I am, I believe that somewhere there must be a video of this panel. It was at Comic-Con in 2012. Yes, Comic-Con is well known for everything related to comics and pop culture like movies and TV shows. That year, many movie actors were present, including a highly anticipated panel for Twilight where the entire cast was in attendance, but it was also a significant time for gamers as well. There was a panel for The Last of Us which featured the game's creative director and voice actors. While videos of these and many other panels are available to watch on YouTube today, there is a sense of mystery at the Epic Games panel. Held in room 6A on a Thursday, where they showcase an early build of Fortnite to a bunch of people, and there is not one other photo or video about it. All we have is this Verge article. Somewhere, someone might have a video of the build that Epic Games had shown off, but as of today, no such video exists, whether because it was never recorded, or because any recording that have taken place has been lost over time. Sadly, we may never know what it could have contained. I love you all, and I will see you very soon.